Yo, that episode of Attack on Titan, though, like, this is easily one of the most savage ways to die, I think, in all of Attack on Titan. Like, imagine getting crushed by your hardened crystal, and just getting squished into paste. And then after you're grinded, your opponent literally drinks your very, I guess, blood to actually get your power. It's pure savagery. Like, holy crap. Like, it really, you gotta look at this from a different perspective. The Jaw Titan, the man behind the Jaw Titan, this man probably feels like an absolute fool. Because, like, he legitimately is the sole reason everything just went a 180 within this episode. Like, they had it. Like, imagine having victory in your sight. Like, imagine that, yes, you're gonna have some casualties, you're gonna have some losses, but if you hold your formation, you stand your ground, you don't, let emotions get to your head, you can win this fight. Like, legitimately, if the Jaw Titan would have stood on top of that building and covered everyone else, then Eren would not have been able to get the War Titan. You would not have been able to get the Warhammer Titan and actually come out on top and win this entire engagement. Even with Armin coming in with the Colossal Titan and doing the damage he did, yes, it's a huge morale, breaker, but it does not change the fact, though, that if the Jaw Titan would have stood there, he could have probably jumped at the blimp and ripped it apart, and then their entire escape plan would have been completely ruined, but obviously he decided to run down, charge Eren, and try to get rid of the Founder right then and there. And so, just like, this man literally ruined everything. Like, it was his whole fault for why everything went south in this episode. It's honestly sad and hilarious at the same time. Like, you could just see the absolute fear as this man's literal jaw is turned into a nutcracker. Like, he is turned into a nutcracker doll as he just smashes, the Warhammer Titan. Just smashes the crystal, and it's just like, oh my god. Like, imagine his emotions in that moment. Like, you could just see when it's actually crushed, you could see the defeated look on him. It's just like he's already given up. Like, soon as that happens, he doesn't even care to fight back anymore. Like, you could just see that he's just absolutely defeated in that moment. It's absolutely breathtaking in terms of quality, the way visually, you have Studio Mappa display that to the audience for this week's episode of Attack on Titan. So I guess let's get right into it. So this episode, visually speaking, of Attack on Titan, way better than I think any of the other episodes of this season, and it's already been fantastic. And I know that there's still going to be probably people somewhere on the internet that's going to be complaining about this episode of Attack on Titan. And I swear, criticism is fine. If you don't like something, it's fine. But don't attack the staff. And I really hope people have learned their lesson to not do that this week, because that was absolutely disgusting last week. I really hope that does not happen again. But with all that out of the way, though, oh my god, like, this episode's pure hype. Like, just, we get to see a really good display of Eren's character and how much he truly has changed since the ending of Season 3. Like, just this 4-year time skip has really changed Eren. Like, you could just see how cold he is. Like, we've already gotten this previous episodes, but when you really see his combat within this episode, he is very cold. He thinks before he acts, and the way he really utilizes openings and weaknesses of his opponent to overcome them is something that's absolutely astounding. I mean, when you look at how many, faults and flaws that Eren had in the previous seasons, you see a lot of things slip through his fingers thanks to him not thinking before he acted. And you see in this episode, like, when you see the Jaw Titan, he messes up, Eren just waiting and grabs the man, pulls him over, slings him, rips his arms off, and then just crushes, the Warhammer Titan in the Jaw Titan's jaw. And then also how he's fighting, the Warhammer Titan. Eren literally hardens his arm, and he starts to think like, oh, if she had any more strength, she would finish me off already. She would have been able to finish me off already, but she can't. She's, spent. She's, used up everything. She has no more stamina. And I love this analytical side to Eren. It really shows how much he's matured. He's no longer this very naive little boy anymore. He's an adult now. He is someone that really does think before he acts, and it's just something I truly appreciate. It actually shows his age, but also how much the environment around him has really changed him in terms of actual combat. So just cool stuff all around for that. But to go a little bit deeper, though, I do want to talk about how Eren actually now has the Warhammer Titan. So he definitely accomplished it. You could see even in that brief moment when he actually is drinking the blood of the Warhammer Titan, you see his eyes do a brief little moment of shine and all that, which basically shows that he did get the power. The question is, does Eren have the capabilities of using it already, or is he going to need time to actually build up the ability to actually being able to use it? That's a big question. I mean, Eren already has capabilities of being able to, like, harden certain parts of his body. So the question is, does he know how to use that and amplify it maybe into a weapon? Like, imagine seeing Eren running around with, like, a giant hammer or a sword or whatever and just striking at people. That would be kind of ridiculous to think about. Which, speaking of Titans and striking at people, can we take a few moments to talk about Levi and the Beast Titan? Like, the Beast Titan, he fell. He fell. And all the other Titans a part of, you know, the Marlians, they fell in this episode. And it's kind of crazy just to see that, you know, the people on the island, Paradise Island, just came in and they literally, like, annihilated most of their force. Like, Armin, what he did to their entire fleet. I'll talk about that in a moment. To, you know, just seeing the Beast Titan hitting the ground. It says a lot. Their last line of defense, honestly, is just Reiner at the end of the episode, when he gets up and he's like, can you just please let me die? I really like this mentality of Reiner. It really just goes to show you how he wants to be done. Like, he's just done. He doesn't want to be a fighter anymore. He just wants to be done. He wants to rest. He wants to be at peace. And it's a nice little kind of nod to show once again how much the after effects of him going to Paradise Island has really changed him. How he just doesn't want to be a part of this no more. He has so much regret. He just doesn't want to deal with it. He just wants to be done. And even though he wants to be done, you have people literally wheeling him back from death itself to continue on fighting. It's actually very reminiscent of the entire theme or major, I guess, pressure we had at the end of Season 3. If you remember, when Armin actually was going to be getting, you know, the Colossal Titan, it was either him or Erwin. And we knew that it was a big issue. Who deserved it more? You know, who would actually bring more importance to the war and the upcoming fights? And remember, there was a big discussion about Erwin not getting it, because why should he get it and bring this man that's already served his dues? Why should we bring him back from the brink of death once again and utilize a walking corpse? Like, why should we do this? Why should we dishonor this man and continue to making this man fight when he needs to be at rest? And that's kind of what's happening with Reiner. He's someone that needs to be at rest. He needs to be done, but he's not being able to. Like, no one's letting him actually sit down and rest. He's being forced to continue moving on forward. So it's kind of like Reiner's the equivalent of Erwin in this case. Like, if Erwin would have gotten the Colossal Titan, he might have felt like, oh, I need to be dead, oh, it's over, or whatever. And that was kind of the conclusion point of Season 3. So it's kind of cool. I like how we get to see the Colossal Titan in this episode, and the, you know, Armin and how he has been affected by it. And then we get to see Reiner as well. That's kind of like, you know, if Erwin was still around. But okay, actually, let's get into Armin, because I think that's a pretty big detail. So we finally get to see Armin's Colossal Titan. We get to see exactly just the destructive force of it, and just seeing how, with Armin's arrival and the transformation into the Colossal Titan, it shifted the entire battlefield in a brief moment. Like, everything was now on the Paradise Island side, and as I said, even then, the Jaw Titan might have been able to turn around if he would have stood his ground, but he didn't. But regardless, the morale-crushing nature of the Colossal Titan appearing, and you just see the entire naval fleet just get completely obliterated in a second, that is just ridiculous. But what's crazier about this scene, though, is seeing Armin look down at what he just did. Him actually looking down and seeing the absolute destruction, what he just caused. And when he starts to talk to himself, he's like, is this what you saw? Is this what you saw, Bert? And this kind of makes a lot of sense. It's a callback, because it's like, you know, he always wondered why Bert did the things he did. And now that he is the Colossal Titan, he's now caused a lot of destruction himself. He now understands what Bert saw and what he was potentially dealing with in his own heart every time he transformed into the Colossal Titan in enemy territory. It's kind of ridiculous, honestly, and you could just see so much sadness in Armin's expression, and I think Studio Mappa really did a good job with capturing those emotions of Armin from that scene of the manga into the anime. And oh my god, can we all take a few moments to just talk about the way the Colossal Titan worked? Like, wasn't even CGI. Like, look, nothing wrong with the CGI to begin with. I haven't had a problem with it at all. But the Colossal Titan wasn't even CGI, and that's pretty impressive, honestly, especially with just the way it looked, all that. Just shout-outs to Studio Mappa for the absolute quality of this episode. So anyways, with that out of the way, let's talk about John. So John, he had a few great moments within this episode. Like, he was just, sliding around underneath the cart Titan. He had a moment of weakness to where he actually wasn't able to finish the cart Titan because a kid was in front of him and he didn't want to finish it. There is a lot of development, but it also shows what type of person John is and how everyone that is on Aaron's side isn't necessarily all for complete obliteration and destruction of the Marley. You could just see that, there is some that actually still holds a lot of humanity in their heart. They're not as cold as Aaron is right now, why we see his character being depicted. And I do like character moments like that, seeing just John have that moment of freezing up and all that he couldn't finish it, and he missed his shot. And I love how we're getting to still see stuff like that. I don't know, just John as a character, he's always been one of my personal favorites, and just seeing him have that character moment within this episode really stood out to me personally. But this is a good episode of Attack on Titan from start to finish, and I really gotta say that hands down this is the best episode of Attack on Titan's latest season to date, and I'm so happy for, this series. I'm so happy that Studio Mappa once again is showing just so much passion for the series. We really don't deserve how much quality and love they're putting into this, and especially after what's been happening these past few weeks towards them. I'm just happy to see that many are rallying and trying to, give them words of support and all that on social media as well. I do think that's really nice of everyone to be doing. So just, I'm happy to see that this episode is being praised as well. But I think I want to leave it at that, though. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And if you want to get notified for whenever I upload a video, please click the bell icon down below. And with that, Chibi out.